do the intro?
This meeting is being recorded.
Shit.
You bitch. All right,
I
so
wish there was a way I could like make it like discreet so you'd know.
yeah, like or make it, I don't know, whisper it to us like this. It's being recorded. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
Hardcore Dave.
And this is Fresh Meat 1 from 2006. Why are we covering such an old-ass episode, you might say, and season? Because it's on Netflix now, and it's on Paramount Plus, and this is a turning point in the challenge. Some old-school fans will be like, this is when it all turned to shit, you know? And some people are like, no, this is the introduction of amazing cast members, and we're both right. Both sides are right.
Really? I don't think there's any way to view it other than this is like when it really gets good. Like, I feel like it was still good beforehand, but it gets into like a new era where it really gets huge.
I mean, huge in popularity doesn't mean better in my eyes. I think that from Fresh Meat to Rivals 2, it's going to be more about these personalities, these bullies, these assholes that control the game. Bananas, Evan, Kenny, and then their rival Wes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the show, the producers are going to actually fall in love with these characters just like we do, you know, like, but they have a budget. So they're like, wouldn't it be great if Kenny and Bananas win the island? You know what I mean? Like, they're just geeking out at this point. And a lot of the competition from now on is going to be more physical. Whereas before, there was a lot of demands of every single thing you could think of, like balance and like going up in a jet and jumping off a plane and all this sort of shit. But now it's going to start to be just more physical, like a sport, I guess. And then all these athletic assholes are going to rule season upon season, you know? And it isn't until Fresh Meat. It isn't until after Rivals 2 where Free Agents comes along. And that is where the producers are like, we're going to be twisting everything you ever known about the challenge.
Yeah.
So
this era is like the beginning of the Attitude Era in wrestling.
Yeah,
you know, where because a lot of people love the Attitude Era. However, a lot of people will argue that it was just like quick action, like throw stuff in your face, and just like it was coming at you so fast that like, yeah, you thought you liked it, but like the only thing that was really good was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everything else was kind of trash.
And I would argue that let's see who else was part of that. Coral is The Rock right now. I don't know.
Evan is the Big Show, Big Slow.
No way. I would give him. I don't know. Let's give Wes Sting. How about that? We give Wes Sting. He's sort of an outsider. People are picking on him and shit. They're like, go against your entire friends and family in exile over and over again. It's cruel.
I feel like Wes would be Hollywood Hulk Hogan, where he just has this ego that he can't be contained.
I do remember Hollywood Hulk Hogan. That's great. All right, yeah, I'll give it to him. But hey, man, let's get on to the show itself. And this is going to be episode 5 and episode 6. We'll cover episode 5 first with a few things very pool related. We're going to have Wes and Johanna kind of like splashing around. Occasionally she'll be like, ow, that hurt. Ow. And then Tina is going to be like, that guy's a piece of shit. He disrespects her and shit like that, you know? How do you view this relationship? Because they're going to go through some ups and downs in this episode. They're going to be yelling at each other, you know, so stupid and shit like that.
I like generally I disagree with Tina almost all the time, but she's 100% right in this situation. Like Wes, Wes doesn't even treat her like a girlfriend. He treats her like either like a possession or like a member of his alliance more than a girlfriend.
So she does say, Johanna, she's like, what pisses me off the most is that he takes this game so seriously, which he
Mm-hmm.
does, but she doesn't almost at all. Like I remember when she dropped the key in the jailbreak thing, she's like, I dropped the key.
Yeah.
It's like your life is on the line. Well, not your life, but you know what I mean? Like you could
Yeah,
help.
she's kind of similar to like Melinda, where it's just like, I want to be here to hang out with Danny. And then, but if Danny is not there and it's like, well, do I really want to be here anymore? I don't know.
Uh, damn it, we were defending Melinda last episode, if you could remember.
Yeah, I still like her.
Yeah, but we were saying she still wanted to be there. Whatever. This is the
I don't know.
problem. Okay, so
I don't
listeners,
remember the
viewers,
narrative I'm trying to paint.
Dave
It's too
was
complicated.
watched this season. This is the second time, at least the second time you've seen it, but you've binged them all the way to like episode 10. So it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
hard to bring you back a few episodes early. I know that. I know it to be true. So let's try and burn through this. Okay. All
Okay.
right. The other cool thing is Tina and Kenny. They're kind of like, play fighting. She's like, oh, your girlfriend is gross looking or something like that, and they eventually throw each other in the pool. Tanya shows up, wet T-shirt. She's like, oh my god, I just happened to. Did anyone invite me? Uh,
Uh, Tanya is
Tanya's.
just a hot mess. She's like straight out of the trailer park. Just like I don't know how old she is. She's early or mid 20s, but she has the personality of a 50-year-old washed up alcoholic. I don't know. She's so bizarre. And she's likable at times. She's really cool and funny and has a good personality at times. But then there's the other side to her, which is not cool. And she's just berserk and crazy.
Yeah, she's definitely got a substance abuse problem, and I think she was one of the few that made it was on Playboy or Spice TV or something like that way back in the day. Do you remember that?
No, what the hell is Spice TV? Sounds like something Spice Girls or something.
Well, I mean, it was a porno basically, but yeah, she made one, and I remember, I think I seen it too. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you have it in
at
your
the time I was
catalog in
like,
your
I gotta.
closet.
I remember I was like, I'll check this out. Why not? Because I remember at the time I was just engorged in the challenge. Back when I first came to it. So when I found out that like she did something, and then like Cara, she was in issue of Playboy, and so was Veronica. I was like, oh, I'll check it out. Why not? But yeah, there you go. uh, let's get into the mission of the day. It's called Climber's Paradise, where we got those pegs. They're all different shapes. You got to
Yeah.
communicate with each other. You got to be like, Nevada.
Yeah. Does that look like Nevada to you?
Always like, does that look like any state you know of?
My
They
favorite
have to
part of
climb.
this was the exchange between Katie and Eric, where he's like, you gotta make sure it's straight and then push it in. Just get it straight. She's like, I know what I'm doing. She's like, I have short arms. I can't reach it.
Oh, poor Katie. Like, if there weren't missions here, she would have such a better time.
Yeah.
So they have to climb, and they have a 10-minute limit. And Theo and Shonda, since they won the previous one, they get to come up with the order. I wanted to go through the order just a little bit because there's some significant shit that happens. Johanna and Jesse go first, right? Remember Jesse, like they get to the top, but Jesse can't lift her. And Wes is like, oh, he doesn't have any muscles and shit like that.
Yeah, but why should he have to lift his partner? Like, some people do that, but like your partner should be able to do it on their own.
Right, right. And have you ever tried to pull up someone who doesn't know how to pull themselves up either? You know, like it's extra hard.
Yeah, it's really almost impossible. Like, well, and especially like the way Jesse is where you're hanging there, you don't have leverage from that situation. Like trying to do like a shoulder press, that's very difficult. Like,
Oh yeah, that's a good point. And then Tina and Kenny go next, and Tina falls like fucking immediately. It was bad. They really should have gotten thrown in, but that's not going to happen. Spoilers. Next is Wes and Casey. They're doing pretty bad. That's when Wes is like, give me this state or that state or whatever. And they're not doing good. And it actually ends with Wes just saying, screw it. He puts in his parts. He goes up to the top before 10 minutes and takes the flag. And Casey's like way down there. It was sort of a dick move to just be like, I just want to finish something, like I'm just going to leave you.
yeah,
But at the same time, there's still that love-hate for Wes, even though I know his future and whatever. But it's like, it has to be frustrating to have to, you're trying to figure out how to save your fucking girlfriend. And she is like the worst team, and you are also like the worst team. Frustration upon frustration. So that's why, like, when he says these asshole-ish things, where I'm like, God damn it, like, it just doesn't help that he has to go against his own people, his own tribe.
yeah. He's so emotional, and he's so invested in trying to win, but like his girlfriend Joanna's not a good competitor. So she's on one of the worst teams there. Casey, the partner that he chose, he got to pick her. Not a good pick. Like while she can like run like a straight line and like an exile, she can't really do much else.
Next, we have Katie and Big Easy. They time out halfway, which sucks for them. Okay, but we're going to finally get to people that do finish it. Darrell and Aviv, who will actually be sixth, they both get their flags. That's awesome. Aviv didn't have to get fucking pulled up, from what I can tell. She fucking got her own flag. Yeah, Johanna. What the fuck? I also have to say, what's up with like the lack of Aviv? I remember watching this, and this might be the third time I've watched this season overall now. Hardly any Aviv, and I don't think it's right. She's cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's some of the editing. It's like we're just seeing way too much Wes and Casey and Tina and Evan.
Okay, next we have Shane and Lynette. They both get their flags on their own. That's awesome. They'll eventually tie for second. I don't think I've mentioned too much about Shane and Lynette, but like Shane, it's crazy to see him before he turns heel. Remember, he comes back in Invasion of the Champions. He's like, I'm gonna be a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? He's just like
he was upset about this season where he wasn't getting enough screen time as well. He's like, I guess I just gotta let myself shine.
Yeah, forget Shane, come shine. All right, next we have Derek and Diem. Derek lifts Diem to the flag. Powerful Derek. They end up getting fourth overall. Next, we have Tanya and Johnny both get their flags on their own, which is good. They tie for second. How frustrating is that? That sucks. Next, we have Evan and Coral. They both get their flag. They don't have to help each other from what I can tell. And then lastly, we have Theo and Shonda. This sucks. Shonda drops a piece, so they have to just go on without that. And like she eventually falls, or doesn't fall, but Theo has to like hold on to her one-handed while she's like dangling, and she gets back onto the board. They both end up finishing regardless. They get fifth place, but like that was cool. Like that was an awesome moment for Theo to like Arnold Schwarzenegger that shit, cliffhanger that shit if he was still on.
if you drop a piece, then you just out of that piece and you don't get a peg for that hole, which is pretty
Yeah.
tough because even with the pegs and all the holes, it's tough to do.
Wasn't okay, remember people like would like put the peg, like the piece in their mouth and just carry it and but then
Yeah.
I think it was Tanya who just like put the handle in, like everyone else like bit onto it, but she just like deep throated that shit.
It was a special skill. She finally was able to put it to some use.
She's like, thanks, Spice Channel. Okay, so Coral and Evan win once again. That is fucking nuts. That's where Evan's like, who's the team to beat? We are. I love this Canadian accent that pops up every once in a while.
Yeah, I feel like it's more noticeable like this season. I don't know, just because maybe Evan's younger, but I feel like I didn't notice his Canadian accent as much in like say like the Duel 2.
Oh right, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's like he's been in America too long or something. I'm not sure. So number one. Oh shit. Okay, so after this is where Wes goes up to Coral and he's like, Coral, Evan, you guys won. Listen, I want to save my girlfriend, so choose Katie and Big Easy or the one that fell down, Tina and Kenny. They did bad, right? Put them in exile, and I will go there myself as long as Johanna doesn't have to go in, right? I think that's nothing wrong with that deal. I think it's a good deal. But Coral's like, they're our friends. We're not gonna vote them in, And
Yeah,
that's the strike.
yeah, because so far they've been voting in trying to get Wes in there and then have Wes go against people in his alliance. And like that's still a possibility to do right now, so they're not going to stop doing that. They want to get rid of Wes and his alliance, and then they'll start throwing some of their own friends to the wolves.
Yeah, exactly. So right away, Coral and Evan, they just decide to put in Wes, Wes and Casey into exile. So Wes is pissed. That's when he goes to Johanna. He's like, you have to like stand up there in deliberation and say, I dare you to put me in, or something like that. Just say like, I don't you dare, or say something, right? He's like, fight. And Johanna's like, no, they're not going to listen. And Wes is like, why is it that like all the time you're like, oh, I'm not going to put up with this. This is when I'm going to like stand up and like speak my mind. And now that you need to, you're saying it's not going to work. And I think they're both right. I think Johanna should try something, but I also think it's not going to work. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, I agree with her. It's like it is pointless. Like she knows that they're basically defeated. And there's no other viable person for anyone else to vote for. So it's like there's no way that anyone else is going to vote for someone other than her team, and she knows that. But the competitor in him is basically just like, you got to do something, you got to fight, and it's just like it's kind of pointless at this point. Like it's the battle has been lost. Like what Wes needed to do is to have Wes and Casey win one of these missions, but they're just not a strong enough team to do that.
Yeah, and this is so okay. Johanna calls Wes stupid multiple times in this exchange, and then when he raises his voice, she's like, "Don't fucking yell at me!" And then he's like, "Oh my god, you stupid!" Ugh! And then he walks off, right? And everyone's watching, but like he said "stupid" once out of how many times she said it? At least twice, right? But that's the line for Johanna, where she's like, "You don't call the person you love stupid." I'm like, bitch, you called him stupid a couple times. So unless it's like, hey, don't ever raise your voice to a woman, right? Don't ever call her stupid, even if she is. Also don't hit her, There's
But
like certain things that certain people, okay, this is what I'm getting at. Certain things people say like you can never do to a girl regardless. And some people do say you don't raise your voice to a woman. How do you view that, Dave? Being from the South.
people raise their voice. I don't. Everybody's different. People raise their voice. It was like, to me, the raising your voice and what was said, that had nothing to do with any of it. It was the fact that Joanna was trying to walk away. She's like, way the F over here. And Wes is tracking her down, confronting her. Like, just leave it be, Wes. Just.
So everyone's watching that, right? So then Wes is like, okay, well, she's not going to do anything. So he's just pissed. He goes up to the tent where Theo, Darrell, Big Easy, they're all kind of chilling out there. And he's like, I swear to God, if you guys put in someone who doesn't deserve it, like those people fell, like I will go against all of you and send all of you home and like all the shit. And that's when Theo's like, you're kind of livid. And Wes is like, I am livid. He's like, yeah, but you're also semi-delusional. Now I almost love everything that Theo ever says. That little exchange reminds me of Theo and Miz, where Miz would be like trying to say like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna kick your ass tomorrow. And Theo's like, are you sure? Are you sure you can do that? Are you capable? Spell this. And Miz is like, oh. And Theo's like, maybe you should get your alternate ego Miz to help you out or something like that. He would just mock him all the time. Because that's where the Miz comes from. Mike, remember? Mike would be like,
yeah,
I couldn't do things when I was like in high school, or like in high school, I was like, I wish I could just get the courage to talk to a girl or say this during a sport or whatever, and his alternate ego would be the Miz, and he would be the one to do that. Yeah. But
it was like,
how it was like, get Miz, help Miz,
That reminds me of the little kid from the Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy, where he puts on the sunglasses and then he's not afraid to go out in public anymore.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
That's what the Miz does. He puts on the sunglasses. Now he's the Miz. He can do anything. Yeah, I love that exchange that when Theo said that, because I totally agree, because Wes is being delusional here. It's just like he's freaking out. It's like this is not the time or the place. And like we see this a lot on the challenge where somebody loses the weekly mission and they know that they're screwed and they just start having a public freak out. And it's just like, it's not going to change anything, and that's why Wes is kind of delusional. It's like all of this freak out's not going to help you in any way. If anything, it's just going to make things worse.
Yeah, I just feel for him though. I mean, it does suck. And Katie will say this during deliberation. That's the next scene where she's like, they just had a big blowout, him and Johanna. I think if we were to put them against each other in exile would be a double douchebag move. And I agree too. Like, I know that it's obvious to get rid of this alliance, but it really does suck that they have to go against each other like that. And I feel bad for Wes, while he's lashing out, while he's not making the greatest decisions. I do feel bad for the guy. So in deliberation, they will just straight up vote in Johanna and Jesse. So Wes later calls Danny. He's like, dude, she's fucking giving up. Like and she is. Isn't she talking shit now to like Coral and like, or about Wes, where she's like, oh, I'm just gonna wear I'm no longer with stupid shirt or something like that. And they're just like laughing, and she's acting like she's just divorced, recently divorced. She's like, I'm free.
Yeah, we see like a different side of her. It seemed like, because like you see her sometimes and she's just innocent and a victim and I feel bad for her. And then other times you see her and you're like, oh, well, it's not just Wes. Like Wes is definitely an asshole, but like Johanna is not, 100% pure or blameless.
She's not pure. Oh my gosh. Fucking Aryan Nation motherfucker. All right, that was the end of the episode. What a great note to go out of.
Okay.